45 million requests hit Cloudflare every single second. 70% never reach the website's actual server. Imagine one factory getting orders from the entire planet, except a chain of local stores catches 7 out of 10 customers before they ever see the factory gate. That's Cloudflare's cache, and it's rewriting how the internet survives traffic. Before Cloudflare, every request went straight to your server. One factory, no buffer. A viral tweet, a flash sale, a DDoS attack, all of it slams the same door. Your database melts, your bill spikes, and you're getting paged at 3 a.m. wondering why 10,000 people suddenly want the same page. Here's the fix, and the analogy that makes it click. Cloudflare runs over 300 corner stores called POPs, sitting between customers and your one factory. Every customer walks into a store first. Most leave happy without the factory ever knowing they existed. That's the entire idea behind a reverse proxy. The trick is one DNS change. Instead of your domain pointing to your server's IP, it points to Cloudflare. Now every request, good or malicious, hits Cloudflare's edge first. Your origin IP becomes invisible. Attackers can't even find the factory's address anymore. Here's what nobody tells you. Cloudflare ignores your cache control header for HTML. Even if your origin screams cache this for an hour, Cloudflare skips it by default. Only images, CSS, JS, and fonts get cached automatically. Your actual pages, the ones costing the most server load, pass straight through unless you flip a switch. Remember the corner store? By default, it only stocks snacks, images, and scripts. Cloudflare cache rules let you tell the store to stock the main product too. One rule, cache everything on HTML paths, and static sites hit 95% cache ratios. The store now handles almost every customer alone. Want proof caching is working? Check the CF cache status header on any response. Hit means the store had it in stock. Miss means it ran to the factory. Bypass means a cookie or auth header forced it to skip the shelf entirely. This one header debugs 90% of caching confusion in production. Say your API feed endpoint sends a session cookie. Cloudflare sees that cookie and assumes the response is personal, so it bypasses cache on every request forever. The fix, a cache rule that caches for 30 seconds only when no cookie is present. Small rule, massive traffic savings. Here's the next problem. If all 300 stores independently run to the factory on every miss, the factory still gets hammered. Cloudflare's tiered cache fixes this with an upper-tier POP, think regional warehouse. Local stores check the warehouse before ever calling the factory. A user in Auckland requests hero.jake. Auckland's cache is cold, brand new POP, nothing stocked. Instead of calling the origin, it asks the Sydney upper-tier POP, which already has it cached from an earlier request. 8 milliseconds later, Auckland has the file. The origin never even knows this happened. Cloudflare reports tiered caching cuts origin traffic by 40 to 80%. That's not a rounding error. That's the difference between your server surviving Black Friday or falling over. The regional warehouse absorbs the surge so the factory barely notices it happened. But warehouses have limited shelf space. Rarely requested files get evicted to make room for popular ones. Cloudflare Cache Reserve solves this by backing the cache with R2, persistent object storage. Now even an obscure PDF nobody's asked for in 6 months stays available, without bothering your origin. A brand new POP spins up with an empty cache. Old model, every request becomes a guaranteed origin hit. With Cache Reserve, the cold POP checks R2 first. If it's there, origin still isn't touched. The factory only wakes up for content that's never existed in any warehouse. Ship a bug fix and your cached version is stale everywhere. Cloudflare's Purge API clears specific URLs globally in under 150 milliseconds. One API call and all 300 stores restock instantly with the new version. No waiting for TTLs to expire. Discord uses Cloudflare for exactly this. When a meme drops in a 100,000 member server, the image is fetched from Discord's origin exactly once. Every other member's client hits Cloudflare's cache instead. One origin request, 100,000 cache hits. That's the entire business model of a CDN in one meme. Cloudflare workers let you run JavaScript at the edge before the cache is even checked. A/B tests, auth checks, custom cache logic all happen at the store, not the factory. Workers can even populate the cache programmatically, deciding what gets stocked before a user asks. Put it together, DNS routes through Cloudflare's edge, cache rules decide what gets stocked. Tiered cache adds a regional warehouse. Cache Reserve backs it all with R2. 4 layers, one goal, keep requests from ever reaching your one factory. Zoom out. Cloudflare handles 45 million HTTP requests every second globally. Roughly 70% never reach an origin server. That's Netflix, IBM, Shopify, and millions of sites all leaning on the same 300-store network to survive the entire internet's traffic. The mistake junior engineers make, assuming caching is automatic everywhere. It's not. HTML, APIs, and cookie-based responses need explicit cache rules. Skip that step, and you're paying for a CDN while your origin still takes the full hit, like renting a store and never stocking the shelves. In your next system design interview, say exactly this. A reverse proxy CDN like Cloudflare terminates TLS at the edge, caches static assets by default, and needs explicit rules for HTML and APIs. Then tiered caching reduces origin load by up to 80%. That sentence signals you've actually built this. This used to be enterprise only. Akamai in 2004 needed contracts and custom configs. CloudFront in 2008 needed AWS lock-in. Cloudflare simplified it in 2010 to one DNS change, free tier included. That shift is why a fifth of the entire web now sits behind one company's edge. Picture 300 corner stores spread across every continent, all connected back to a handful of regional warehouses, all shielding a small number of factories. That topology, not raw server power, is why Cloudflare absorbs spikes that would flatten any single company's infrastructure. Seeing unexpected bypass in production? Check three things first. Is there a set cookie header from your origin, an authorization header on the request, or a cache control private response? 90% of why isn't Cloudflare caching this tickets trace back to one of these three culprits. Enable cache everything on a static site, and hit rates climb past 95%. That means for every 100 visitors, 95 never touch your server at all. Your $5 a month hosting plan suddenly survives a front-page traffic spike without blinking. In 2023, Cloudflare mitigated a DDoS attack peaking at 71 million requests per second, the largest ever recorded at the time. The target's origin server never saw a single packet. The corner stores took the mob, the factory kept shipping orders like nothing happened. Zoom back out. One factory, 300 corner stores, a few regional warehouses, and an infinite archive in R2. Every layer exists to keep requests from reaching the one place that can't scale, your origin. That's the entire architecture in 4 sentences. Akamai pioneered this decades ago. Fastly and AWS CloudFront compete on enterprise features. Vercel and Netlify bundle it into deploys. But Cloudflare's free tier and its 300-store network is why most personal projects and startups default to it first. The way I'd explain this to a PM, we don't need bigger servers. We need Cloudflare to catch 70% of requests before they reach us. It's like hiring 300 store clerks instead of building one giant factory. That sentence gets budget approved. 70% of Cloudflare's 45 million requests per second absorbed before origin. That number keeps climbing as cache reserve, workers, and tiered caching mature. The web isn't getting less busy. It's getting better at pretending your server isn't the bottleneck. Remember the corner store in front of one factory? That's Cloudflare's cache. 300 stores absorbing 70% of the planet's requests before your factory ever notices. Next time an interviewer asks about CDNs, you'll sound like you built one. Subscribe for the next system design breakdown.